Hello Habibti, كيف انتي? Hello my friend, how are you doing? And welcome to this Maltese language lesson where I will be taking you through 50 really useful adjectives that you can use in this beautiful language. And adjectives, just in case you're not sure, are basically just describing words. So let's get started. So before we actually look at the adjectives themselves, there are just a few pointers you must learn beforehand. Firstly, in Maltese, there are actually 3 different variants of each adjective, and which one we need to use depends on whether we are describing a masculine, feminine, or plural noun. Secondly, adjectives in Maltese typically follow the noun they are describing, which of course is different to how we do it in English, because as an example, in Maltese, we would say car beautiful and not beautiful car. So just to translate that for you, the correct version in Maltese is carrozza sabiha, meaning car beautiful, and not sabiha carrozza, meaning beautiful car. Okay, so now that you know that, let's just take a look at the first adjective example, as I think that is the best way to explain it to you. And we begin with the adjective big. Now, as I said, there are 3 different ways to say the word big in Maltese, particularly when using it as an adjective, which of course is a describing word, as I briefly mentioned. We have the masculine way here in the left column, the feminine way in the middle column here, and the plural way in the right column. And just so you know, there is no such thing as a masculine or feminine plural in Maltese. Plural is just plural. So it's masculine, and then feminine, and then plural. Now, let me pronounce these for you. We have kbir, that's kbir in the masculine category. We have kbira, that's kbira in the feminine category. And we have kbar, that's kbar in the plural category. So by now you're probably itching to know which one of these 3 variants you should use, and the answer to that question is that it depends on whether the noun we are describing is either masculine, feminine, or plural. As remember, we have genders in the Maltese language, which of course we do not have in the English language. So let me give you some examples. Notice how in English we'd say the sentences "This is a big horse," or "This is a big car," or "These books are big." Well, as I've just explained, in Maltese, there are 3 different ways to say the adjective big, okay? It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. And this means that we actually say these 3 sentences in the 3 following ways. We say, "This is a kbir horse," because horse is a masculine noun in Maltese. We could also say, "This is a kbira car," because car is a feminine noun in Maltese. And lastly, we'd say, "These books are kbar," because the word books is of course a plural noun. And just to remind you, these 3 words in red here, kbir, kbira, and kbar, are all the 3 different ways of saying big in Maltese. And you can also see them in the table up here. Now, let me translate these sentences for you fully in Maltese. And just keep in mind that in Maltese, the adjective, which in this case is the adjective big, comes after the noun. So to say "this is a big horse," we say "dan u ziemel kbir." Okay? The word for big, which is kbir, comes after the noun horse, which is this word right here, ziemel. Okay? Now, to say "this is a big car," we say "dan iya carrozza kbira." Once again, you can see that the adjective kbira, meaning big, comes after the noun carrozza, which is the word for car in Maltese. We're using the feminine version of big, kbira, because carrozza is a feminine noun. And lastly, to say the books are big, we say dawn il-kotba kbar. And just to clarify once more, we're using the plural version of big here, kbar, because il-kodba means books, which of course is a plural word. Now, I really hope that all of that has made sense to you, but if not, it's okay. Go easy on yourself. I'd just make a suggestion that you go back and watch this video again, as I think that repetition will really help you a lot in understanding this. But yeah, all in all, this does indeed mean you have to learn 3 words for most of the adjectives if you want to speak Maltese properly. It doesn't mean someone won't understand you if you get them mixed up, but of course it won't be entirely grammatically correct. And just so you know, the reason I said most of the adjectives is because this 3 variants of adjectives rule only actually applies to the adjectives that come from Semitic roots, and more specifically, Sisulo-Arabic roots. And for the adjectives that come from Romance or Anglo-Saxon origins, aka Italian and English origins, they only have 1 variant, and we'll go through some of these examples in this video as well. But yeah, as you may or may not know, Maltese is heavily influenced by Arabic, Italian and English languages, and that's why we have different rules for different adjectives. Anyway, on to the next adjective, which is the adjective small. And remember, the same rule applies here just as it did with the adjective big, in the sense that the adjective small has 3 different formats. It has the masculine, which is zair, zair. It has the feminine, which is zaira, zaira. And it has the plural format, which is zar, zar. Okay, on to the next adjective. Hot. The masculine is yahra, yahra. The feminine is tahra, tahra. And the plural format is yaharu, yaharu. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Why are you trying to learn Maltese? Is it so that you can connect with your Maltese roots and family? Or maybe because you're emigrating to Malta? Because I've done you an absolutely huge favour, and it's completely free of course, where I've compiled 50 of the most used Maltese phrases and words all into an ebook for you. But before I tell you more, let's look at how to say the adjective cold, which is kiesach. Kiesach for the masculine category, kiescha, kiescha for the feminine way, and keschin, that's keschin for the plural way. Now, that ebook I mentioned literally just a second ago will help you to understand 67% of Maltese conversations, because the words and phrases in it are extremely powerful and are used very frequently in the language. Therefore, I'd highly advise you to download your ebook for free from the description below. Now, let's move on to the next adjective, which is happy. And in Maltese, we say ferhan. That's ferhan. And of course, that's for the masculine variant. For the feminine variant, we say ferhana. Ferhana. And for the plural variant, we say ferhanin. Ferhanin. Okay, the next adjective. Sad, which is imdeya. Imdeya. For the masculine, imdeya, imdeya for the feminine, and imdeyin. Imdeyin for the plural. Tall, tweel, tweel, tweela, tweela. Toile, toile. Short, asir, asir. Asira, asira. Osra, osra. Good, tayyip, طيب طيبة طيبة طيبين طيبين bad خزين خزين خزينة 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 new جديد جديد جديدة جديدة جدة جدة أديم أديم أديمة أديمة أدمة أدمة beautiful صبيح صبيح صبيحة صبيحة زبيح زبيح perfect 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 perfetta perfetta perfetti perfetti gustus gustus gustusa gustusa gustusi gustusi cute or sweet hello hello helwa helwa Halloween Halloween thick or fat ochshon ochshon choshna choshna choshnin choshnin high or expensive Orly Orly Olya Olya Olyin Olyin cheap irhis irhis irhisa irhisa irhas irhas clean nadif nadif nadifa nadifa nodfa nodfa dirty mahmouch mahmouch mahmouja mahmouja mahmoujin mahmoujin ignorant ignorant ignoranta ignoranta ignoranti ignoranti meaning ignorant heavy or difficult t'il t'il t'ila t'ila t'al t'al light or easy khafif khafif khafifa khafifa khfif khfif crazy مجنون مجنون مجنونة مجنونة imjinen imjinen and this one is definitely one that I've been called quite a lot in my life. It's one that gets used quite a lot in Maltese, and yeah, it's often used as like a bit of a soft insult, if that makes sense, you know, if you're playing around and just telling some jokes with your friends and family. But yeah, let's see the next adjective. Fit fit fitta fitta and fitti T, meaning annoying. Now we have excited. Eccitat. Eccitat. Eccitata. Eccitata. And eccitati. Eccitati. Mimli. Mimli. Mimlia. Mimlia. Mimlien. Mimlien. Meaning full. Empty. Void. Void. Voita. Voita. Voiti. Voiti. Tired. Ayen. Ayen. Ayena. Ayena. Ayenin. Ayenin. Rich. Signor. Signor. Signora. Signora. Signori. Signori. Poor. F'ir. F'ir. F'ira. F'ira. F'ar. F'ar. Fresh. Frisk. Frisk. Friska. Friska. Frisky. Frisky. Noisy. Storbius. Storbius. Storbiusa. Storbiusa. Storbiusi. Storbiusi. Quiet. Quit. Quit. Quieta. Quieta. Quieti. Quieti. Wet. Imsharrap. Imsharrap. Imsharba. Imsharba. Imsharbin. Imsharbin. Dry. Shot. Shot. Shotta. Shotta. Shotti. Shotti. Circular. Taunt. Taunt. Tonda. Tonda. Tondi. Tondi. Straight. Dret. Dret. Dritta. Dritta. Dritti. Dritti. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, all of the adjectives that we have been through so far have come from Semitic roots, which is why there has been 3 variants for each of them, and the 3 variants, of course, being masculine, feminine, and plural. But now I just want to briefly take you through some of the Maltese adjectives that come from Romance and Anglo-Saxon origins, aka Italian and English origins, because these are the adjectives that only have one variant. In other words, you use the same adjective regardless of whether you are describing a masculine, feminine, or plural noun. But just for your information, I go into much more depth about this and the Maltese adjectives in my online Maltese language course, which you can access by clicking on the link in the description below. But yeah, let's take a quick look at these adjectives in this video. So firstly, for the adjective possible, we have possibly. And as you can see, that's for the masculine here, the feminine, and the plural variants. So let me just say the pronunciation for you again there. We have possibly. That's possibly. Okay, let's move on to the next adjective. And that, of course, is impossible, where in Maltese we say impossibly. That's impossibly. Next, intelligent, intelligenti, intelligenti. Important, importanti, importanti. Different, differenti, differenti. Popular, popolari, popolari. Hungry, بالجوع, بالجوع. Thirsty, bilac, bilac. Local, locali, locali. Easy, facili, facili. Difficult, difficili, difficili. Now, through the lessons that are taught in my Maltese language course, I was literally able to help people like Tony, who didn't even know how to introduce himself in Maltese, to literally being able to speak Maltese confidently in 11 days. And he did all of this before his holiday to Gozo. So that means if you already have a little bit of proficiency in Maltese, you will most likely learn even faster than Tony did. I mean, just imagine confidently chatting with locals during your next trip to Valletta, or impressing your Maltese-speaking friends and family whilst you all sit down at dinner together eating some lovely hobsbizet. Wouldn't that feel amazing? And the best thing about this is that not only will you get the course, but also access to a private community with other students, so you can all help each other learn faster. To access all of this juicy stuff, just go to the link in the description below. Grazie ħafna u narak dal-waqt.